So we have just learned about Internet Explorer toolbar. Now we would be learning about the Firefox toolbar. Now the Firefox toolbar is exactly similar to uh, what IE toolbar is, but it has more features than the IE toolbar. For example, the very basic feature which is quite important is the XML, which is the XPath locator, which is available in the Mozilla toolbar, and it's not available in the IE toolbar. So let us try to understand what the Mozilla toolbar is, and at the same time try to find elements, try to program the finding of elements in Selenium. So I have just opened, as you can see, I have opened my Eclipse development environment, and I have created a small project where with the name Selenium Locators. I hope you know how to create projects. If you don't know, you can refer to our early tutorials, which are the basic tutorials on our website toolsqa.com. So let us try to find out some elements and try to perform some actions on those elements using Selenium. So this is our main method. I have just created a Firefox driver, and I have created a Firefox driver because we are trying to explore the Firefox toolbar. So let me open Firefox. So this is the Firefox toolbar, and we'll go back to our ToolsQA website homepage. This is where we are. This is where we will try to write something or write some code. Now, as we were talking about the earlier functionality that we have to test something on this website, for example, the search box where we have to type something and press enter. Now let us automate this. So how do we locate this element inside a Mozilla Firefox browser? All we have to do again is the same thing. Press F12. There you go, you have the toolbar available. Now this is one way to do it. Now the other way is quite simple. Whatever element you want to explore, just right click on it and say inspect element. So with this it will open the toolbar, and it will by default highlight the piece of code which represents the element that you have clicked on. For example, as you hover your mouse over the piece of code, you can see that on the top, on the search box, there is a dotted line that is created. That is a visual marker stating that whatever element you have selected in the code is being highlighted. So yeah, so this is our search toolbar. Another way is to again click on a similar button which was there in the IE, and after clicking on it, just move to the required element and click on it. There you go. So once you click on it, let me do it again. Once you click on it, okay, it's not doing that. Yeah, I think it's hidden. Yeah, here you go. So it highlights the text that you it highlights the code part that represents the element. Now after taking a look at the element, we can see that it's an input box, it's an input tag with a class called search field and type search, and title is search for. The name of the element is S. Now this is our unique identifier. We can check whether this is the unique identifier by writing a small piece of program. Let us try to find this element using name. So all you have to do is ffd, which is our Firefox driver, dot find element dot find. So you can see that there are lots and lots of options that are available to us. Now these are actually the locator strategies that we were talking about. So any browser driver gives you all the options to locate an element using the standard attributes. So find element by class name, find element by CSS selector. You can also find element by ID. You can find element by link text. You can find element by name. You can find element by partial link test. Similarly, tag name and XPath. Let us try to find a name, find an element by the property name. Find element by name. We have chosen find element by name because we know that our element has a name, and we by looking at the HTML document we can say that this is a unique identifier. So I will say that I want to find an element with a name S. So I'm telling my Firefox driver that please find me an element by name, and the name is this, and this method returns a web element. So all I have to do is I have to create a web element, a search box on this. Now web element, it is represented by e search. So what it will do, it will find an element with the name as, and it will return it to us, and we will store it in a variable called search. Now once we have the element, we can perform lots of actions on it. For example, no, not this one. So I have this search box available, and when I do dot, I can clear it, I can click on it, I can find more elements inside that element. Well, in case of a box, that's not possible because boxes don't allow nested elements. Now we also have just a moment. We also have lots of other methods. We can get attribute, we can get class, we can get CSS value, we can get location, size, and lots of other things. All these things will be covered in our later tutorials. Those will be more advanced tutorials. Let's stick to one problem where we wanted to write something on this search box. So I will say I want to send keys, and I want to send flash to it. So what the statement will do, it will first, so the element that our Firefox driver will find, our Firefox driver will try to find an element with a name as, and it will then send keys to the element. So it accepts character sequences. Let us give them. So we want to write a string value inside the search box. So we have to do. So from here we found the element. Here we are sending keys, and we are sending flash. Now send keys take a character sequence. So character sequence can be. We can convert a string into a character sequence by creating a new string type, new string array. So it will create a character string. Now let's run it. Let's see what it does. Now this is quite slow. I don't know, somehow interacting with the Mozilla browser is very slow on my system. Let's see how it works. It hasn't launched the browser. Yeah, so it's launching the browser now. You can see that our test code has just launched the browser, and it will try to navigate it to the toolsqa.com website, which we haven't mentioned. Okay, so our mistake, not my mistake, we haven't mentioned where we have to go. So it's quite problematic. So let me add the piece of code where it moves to it moves to toolsqa.com. This step will navigate the browser to this website, and after that it will try to find the search box. It will try to find an element with the name S, which in our case is our search box, and it will then try to send keys to it. Now let's do it again. It's gonna be a little slow, but yeah, hopefully it does it quickly this time. Now, so as you can see that by exploring the element using the toolbars, we can find unique attributes of the elements, and we can use them to access the elements. So in a nutshell, locate the elements, and that's what is called locators. That's the locator concept in Selenium. So you can see that we have located the element successfully, and we have typed flash inside it, as what our test was supposed to do. So we have just explored an element. We have just found an element using the name property of the element. Similarly, we have different strategies around how we can locate an element, and these strategies are provided by Selenium as a right-off-the-shelf feature. For example, I just showed you, right? So a search box. If I do a driver dot will give me all the methods available, and it will tell me that I can find an element with class name, CSS selector, by ID, by link text, and lots of other things. So let us try to explore all these properties one by one. We have just explored the name property, so the first one is here. Now we can also do it by ID. We can explore elements by ID also. So let me again go back to the toolsqa.com website, and let us go to the tutorial called Locators. Now what I'm showing to you in the tutorial, you can get the same thing here in the tutorial. It's not that much elaborative. You have to read through each section and try to understand it yourself, or you can watch the video. Now let us try to inspect the element. Let us try to see what we have here. So we can see that this is an input box with ID username, right? So we want to find an element using the ID attribute. So let us write down the code. So you can see that this is the input box. It has an ID username and a type text and a name login. So we can find this element using the name also and the ID also. So I have shown to you how you can find an element using name. I will show to you how you can find an element using ID. So again, the same step. All we have to do is change the way we are finding the element here. So we will do find element by ID. It says by ID, and it will ask you what the ID is. In our case, the ID is username, right? As you can see, the ID is username. Now the same test, we have changed the URL also, because now we want to directly navigate to the URL where this edit box is located. So this is the URL. Now let's run the test. So this test should find the element by the ID and input the text flash into it. Let's run it. It has opened the browser. It will navigate to the desired page, which is the locator page, and you can see that it has started typing inside the login username box. So we are successfully able to locate the login username edit box, and we are able to type in the word flash into it. and this time we located the box, the element, using the ID. Similarly, we have lots of other elements where you can, for example, okay, there's a type submit name. Okay, so let us try to find out the next locator technique by XPath. Well, XPath is a separate topic in itself. Uh, it's a way to locate an element inside an HTML document based on the relative position, or based on the exact absolute position of the element inside the document. It's quite a big topic, not big, but it is a topic which deserves to have a separate tutorial. So I have decided to set up a new tutorial for this particular locator technique, but I will explain to you what locator what XPath is. So XPath is actually a way to identify element based on the location, inside the document, location inside the HTML doc. Okay, so let's say I have an HTML document, and inside the HTML document I have body, and inside the body I have a tag. It's not the exact HTML coding. I'm just giving you example. Inside the a tag I have a frame, let's say a frame, and inside the frame I have a input box, right? Then I have a frame, again another frame, and I have another input box. Now these two boxes are exactly the same, but using XPath I can find out and I can individually target these boxes just based on the relative position, the relative or the absolute position of the edit boxes. So I will say that I want a box which is inside the HTML, and inside the HTML it's in the body, it's in the first a tag, and in the first a tag it's in the first frame 1, and the type of the box is input. So like this I will create a sequence, I will create a hierarchy, and based on the hierarchy I will identify the input box. Similarly I can do it for the input box too. Now this is called XPath. Based on the path of the element inside the HTML document I will find the element. Now this is a good topic, and I will leave it to be I will create another tutorial on this, and I will let you guys know. It needs more in-depth understanding than just which we can do right now in the video. So XPath is very critical for us because most of the time we end up having HTML documents which are not properly formatted. So as a result we end up using XPath quite often. Now similarly we have another way to locate an element, which is through link text. So let's see, we have a link here. Yeah, so any page which will have this kind of a link, an anchor tag with href, we can find the element just by giving the href, by telling them what is the link text, not the href, the name, the text inside the link text. So let us we had a so I can show you this example using our own page that I created, that was the tags.html. In the tags.html we have our input. we have a tag. Let me see, do we have one a tag? Nope, we don't have a tag, but we can create an a tag. Just give me a minute, let me create. Okay, so I'm not able to find a tag on our website right now, so I created a small a tag for you guys. As you can see that we had our tags.html from our previous examples. I just entered a tag, anchor tag inside the HTML, and I gave a reference to http://yahoo.com, and I created the name of the tag. I created the inner text as a tag. So this element, when represented on an HTML page, would come up like this. Let me show it to you how it will be displayed. So this is the local host tags page, and this is the a tag that I just created, anchor tag. And as you can see, a tag is the inner text, the text, the linked text actually. Now let us write our test and let us locate this element. So let us first browse to the page. Now this is the Firefox travel. We'll browse to this page and we'll navigate to this page, and we'll try to find an element by linked text. As we discussed, linked text is another way to locate an element, and the linked text here, as if we inspect the element, it will show us the linked text is, let me tell you this, and it says that this is an anchor tag which is hrefed, which is hyper referenced to a yahoo.com page, and which has an inner tag, which has an inner text value of a tag, and this text value is represented by linked text. So this value is the linked text. As you can see, the link is like this is the text and it is a hyperlink. Now we will find an element by linked text. The text is a tag, and we will click on that. Let's try to do what it does. It's a little slow. So now I think now you have a fair degree of understanding what different attributes are. So this is the page it has loaded, and it has even clicked on the link. After clicking on the link, it has the browser moved to the yahoo.com page. Now this is another technique to find an element based on certain key characteristics of the element. Now we have covered these three locator strategies: by name, by ID, by linked text. The other strategies are very much similar to the above strategies, and I would leave it to you as a homework for you to do. You can, in the description below this video, you will find a link to a page on toolskewer.com where you will find all these elements inside on the page. So all you have to do is just locate these elements, try to find unique properties of these elements, and write your own code. Like this, you will understand, you will get the core concepts inside here. I think that's pretty much it about the video today. Hope you have learned quite a lot about locators today. If you have any questions, do let me know. Please put down your comments in the section below, in the comment section below. And if you have any questions, put it down there, and I will try to answer them. Thank you very much for watching.